Okay, so I'm gonna install this JDAir canopy latch today, I think. As you can see, I've already unboxed it and assembled it to the rails that were included with the Vans kit, and I'll flute those here in a moment. I put a fair amount of thought into this process, and I kind of like what I've come up with. I've decided to use an aluminum template, and I'll show you here why in a moment. And I've cut a scrap piece of what was this? 032, I think, thick aluminum sheet to simulate the skin. Yeah, that's 032. And I'm going to basically cut the holes in this for the latch mechanism for the latch that's going to protrude through and be flush with the skin. Alright, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and cut out the latch holes with an X-Acto knife. Now, it's certainly possible to do this without making a metal template. I just found it easier and a little more reliable to do so, and I'm glad I did. You'll see why later. And I have a slow build fuselage, so I'm not having to unrivet anything. I'm not having to drill anything out. Everything is new. My skin for the left side is laying right here. In fact, that's my left side skin. Right side skin I went ahead and installed first. The only reason I did that is because I didn't have this latch hardware. It was in the mail. So there are my cuts. Now I'm going to test fit those on here to see how accurate they are. It looks like that's going to be pretty doggone close right there. Alright, so I think that's good enough to cut the metal template with. We can always file it. If anything, the holes are maybe just a little bit small, which is good because you can always take metal away. You cannot add metal back in, but it looks like those will be close enough to get the first cut out of there, and then we can tweak them as we need to get them to fit. So now I'm going to lay my metal on here like so, right on the template, and I'm going to tape it in place. Now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take a Sharpie marker, and I'm going to draw the pattern. I'm going to draw the pattern here while I'm holding my hand on it, and then remember I'm going to go to the outside of the line when I start cutting. I'm going to draw that, and then I'm going to put some more tape right there to hold the pattern down. Alright, there's the mark. That is essentially all you needed the template for right there. Remove the template, and I'm done with it. It's going in the trash. I'm going to leave myself a little margin so I have room to file, but right there's my pattern that I'm going to cut out. Well, aside from one hack there on the, what I would probably learned a lesson. I was going to do this cut from the back side of there because I just put a hack scratch on there when I slipped the Dremel. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right there, yeah, of course you can. So I got the rough cut done. Now I'm gonna get a file, and I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch it all. But I'm just gonna and these files here, I've got these little jeweler's files. Pretty doggone handy for doing stuff like this. Just saying. Getting closer. You see I still got a little bit of line left. I'm going to cut out. I got the bottom, this edge and that corner. Look pretty good. A little more to go. And just as a reference, we can always take a measurement here. This is 0.630 in width. 625 over here. 628. So 630 is the minimum. I know I got a ways to go. I'm only at 562. I'm probably going to go to about 640, 650, somewhere in there. Alright, so I thought I would show, I got the first hole cut, and it seems to fit pretty well. Slides right out, got a nice tight fit, no dragging, I think. I'm going to leave that just as it is. Now flip it around and make sure it still works well, which I think it does. And it looks like this one is pretty close to where it needs to be. Alright, so we're going to start working on this front hole and see if we can make everything fit. And I like to use this little rat tail file to kind of give me a radius, and I just push down on it here so I'm not cutting into the side. Maybe cut down in a little bit towards the inside of the hole. That looks pretty close. And I'm going to use this to see just how close we are. So I'm going to cut this side now. You can kind of see maybe how that's creating the little radiuses down there with that rat tail file. And then I've got it just about the right length, or as far as the right depth down. So now I'll take this flat file and kind of knock that middle part out. This guy in place. that needs to come down just a little bit more. A little bit more depth on it. So we're going to cut it down a little bit more. Alright, once again, I've got just a little bit of a radius down there, little bumps that I'm going to try to now flatten out that. This is a pretty slow process, but I think it'll be worth it. There we go. All that's, so I'm not done yet, but I've got this one, this whole cut and fitting, and it fits all the way up to here. Cut just a little bit more out of there. I love the shape of these holes. They look pretty good, I think. Ding, ding, ding. I think we're there. So now I'm going to Cleco clamp these two things together, the assembly of the latch and the template with Cleco clamps so that I can match drill them. So if I hold this here, I should be able to push and release. How about that? Alright, match drilling here. And of course, Cleco after match drill. So now I have the template with the slots cut in it for the handles and 3 rivet holes that line up with the top line of rivets. So I can Cleco the template using those 3 holes in the top. And then once it's Clecoed in place, I can match drill the remaining holes in that top line of rivets from the skin, because the skin lines up with the holes in the top bracket. I can. Okay, there's my templates. Now, I should be able to put this in there on top of the template. In fact, I'll hold the template and deburr some holes. Alrighty, we are match drilled from the top. So now I am match drilling the bottom row of rivet holes, and I'm using the bottom bracket as the match drill template to drill through both the template and the skin, because this row of holes doesn't exist in either yet. And again, Clecoing as I go, putting a Cleco in with each hole, so we'll speed that up. Okay, that is assembled, and now if I can remove the latch. I know it's a lot of click going and unclick going, but holes are all drilled now for the latch and in the template. Now we Cleco the template in place because all of the rivet holes are match drilled, and now all we have to do is, using the template, we mark the skin for the final cuts for the latch handles. Blue fine tipped Sharpie and that is the only thing we needed the template for. There are a couple of places in the corners of the handle slots where I can use a drill, like a 1/4-inch drill, to kind of protect the corners of those handle slots, so that when I'm doing dremeling to cut the pieces out, got a little bit of margin there. So I'm marking the holes for those corners. Now there's a couple places where there are rivet holes that are in the way, so it would be hard, if not possible, to drill. So there's only a couple of them that I'm doing. And now with the holes drilled and everything marked, it's time to Dremel the slots out for the handles. I really like using this template method because it gives you a practice run at actually cutting these slots. And I think that was very valuable because I know the second time I did it on the actual side skin, the result was better. I wasn't displeased with the first shot, but the second shot looked very professional, I thought. Took me about 2.5 hours from start to finish, and I would probably do it exactly the same way if I were to do it a second time. Alright, time for a test fit. Okay, there's all plugged in. Yeah. I'd say the first actuation worked pretty well. Didn't drag at all and flipped right open. So just a little bit of final fitting and I think we'll be ready to rivet. So there is my JDAir canopy latch installed. I guess the top of that one is just a little bit bigger than I would have hoped, but it does open pretty free and it snaps in nice. Okay, so here we go. Sorry, I didn't record any video for riveting the brackets to the skin. Fits pretty well, I think. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.